To know and not do is to not know. And if you're not really confident in what you know, start doing it anyway. And you install brand new empowering beliefs as your inner witness sees you marching to a new tune, sees you acting as if you know with clarity of your power and the infinite possibilities ahead of you. The reason infinite possibilities is the theme this month is really meaningful to me, and it's going to become, I believe, really meaningful to you. You remember this book? If you know my work, you probably remember that, oh my gosh, 17 years ago, I came out with an audio program, same title, Infinite Possibilities, The Art of Living Your Dreams. Sold it all over the internet. Finally, after my appearance in The Secret, a publisher said, okay, we'll try to publish that. And this book, exactly this book, debuted on the New York Times bestseller list, thanks to you guys. That was 10 years ago next Tuesday. Given the track record of this book, given that it founded a train-the-trainer program and an Infinite Possibilities membership, and it's all over the world, this whole month is themed Infinite Possibilities. And the theme of today's talk is rocking life's 5 truths of being. This is so near and dear to my heart. When this audio program at first and then the book came out, this was my first real non-fluffy, not a bunch of poems book about living deliberately, creating consciously. And I wanted to hit such a home run. And I was like, I am going to lay it all out. Beliefs, thoughts become things, emotions, intuition, relationships, what you can do, what you can't do in terms of other people, questions and answers. I talked about Atlantis and Bigfoot, and I covered A to Z. Because if you don't cover something A to Z, you leave room for doubt. So I had to go really deep. And it's from my experience being interviewed by TV and radio all over the world that they always want to ask me, Mike Dooley, you've written a book about the art of living your dreams. What do you see as being the number one thing that holds people back the most? The number one thing. It is not being rooted and grounded in truth. If you don't have a rock to stand on, you're going to be giving your power away. Oh, I want this to happen, but maybe I was bad in the last incarnation. I want that to happen, but maybe I have some lessons to learn, or God is going to give me a test. I want the other, but maybe I don't believe in myself. I want this, but maybe I chose this lifetime to be poor, or to be sick, or to be alone. I've heard people ask me, what if I chose this lifetime to be poor? Nobody chooses a lifetime like it was a destiny. You choose a stage. That's what we do. We choose stages. These will be my props. These will be my peeps until I'm old enough to choose new ones if I want. And this is going to set me up, given my inclinations and my strengths, to go forward and rock. Okay, that's what we choose. We choose stages. So I remember thinking, what is the most foundational thing I could impart to give people their own rock? Just like there are physical laws, my question was, what are the metaphysical laws? Never heard anybody talk about metaphysical laws. I don't even know. Yeah, it works. It works. But what are the metaphysical laws that stop me from turning into a lima bean in 2.5 minutes? Maybe I'll turn into a zebra tomorrow morning. Maybe I'm going to start defying gravity for no reason before this broadcast is over. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but I think it doesn't take much to recognize that we couldn't have a stage to live our lives on unless there were certain elements of consistency, like physical laws, but I'm talking metaphysical laws. I mean, what keeps the time-space dimension intact. And I do believe that there are metaphysical laws under the tapestry of time and space, that there could not be time and space if it were not for metaphysical laws. If you look up metaphysical, you will see it means pre-physical. What is the metaphysical sciences before the physical sciences? There is a science. There are rules, if you will, that exist pre-time, matter, space, that make gravity and mathematics and biology possible. What would they be? So going deep to put legs under the table of thoughts become things, because I am so not. Thoughts become things, is a great way of living your life. Baloney and bullcrap. Thoughts become things is absolute. It is not a way of living your life. It is a truth that can be recognized, or it is a truth that will rule your life unrecognized. Which do you choose? So I wanted to put spiritual legs under the table. So in chapter 1 of Infinite Possibilities, old and new version, I talk about my confusion and disappointment with church. My parents had me going to church until I was an adult. I had a lot of questions. Church couldn't answer. Church has a lot of contradictions. Church has a lot of beauty too. It's your path. You choose the path, but do not think that everyone has their own truth. Everyone has their own path, but there are certain absolute pillars to the nature of reality. Am I beginning to make some sense out of this? The profound importance of this. If one person's truth was God, and another person's truth was the devil, and another person's truth was to be a Jehovah's Witness, and another person's truth was Hinduism, those can be their paths, but they're not truths. All of a sudden, if they were more than paths, everyone would have a different set of rules to live their life by. Now, I'm not trying to start a new religion. No way, Jose. That's not where this is going, and you'll soon see that. But digging deep and asking myself for the initial components of this book, it was like, what can we hang our hat on? What is immovable? What is a pillar of reality? Because if you know the pillars, you can throw out all the blurry, confusing crap that steals your power from you, as you will see. Then you're rocking the truths of being. Truths of being is what I call these pillars. I made it up, but I think it kind of hits the nail on the head. The 5 truths of being, as discerned by me, to be confirmed by you, are, in particular order, we are all one. Yeah, you didn't expect, some mathematical formula, I hope. We are all one. People ask, what's the Holy Grail? Where's the Holy Grail? Literally, the Holy Grail, the story from the Bible. The Holy Grail is understanding that your thoughts become things. Okay, back to the 5 truths of being. We are all one, which could be restated as we are all of one. Could be restated as we are all of God. We are all divine. We are all interconnected. But I've chosen we are all one. But I'm illustrating that each of these 5 truths of being could be stated any number of different ways. Okay, and that's kind of important. Maybe there's 6 truths of being. Maybe there's 4. In my subsequent books, I talk about that, and I whittle it down to the one that has the most meaning in our lives. But number 2, thoughts become things, which could be stated as we are creators. We are all creators, created to create. Of the creator, now creators ourselves, because we are all one. See how they tie together? These 5 truths of being tie together. Number 3, life is eternal. Life could be interchanged with consciousness, God, energy, ourselves. Life is eternal. Number 4, there is only love. There is only love. there is only God. And I'm not talking about human judgmental love. We are bathed in love. There is only love. There is only order. There's only perfection. There is only healing. Anything that appears to the contrary, and lots does, is part of the pendulum swinging, and it's part of the healing process. Basically, fundamentally, there is only love. Love is synonymous with God. There is only God. Well, we kind of said that with the first one. We are all one. We are all of God. We are all God. So these five blend together, but they could be stated in a number of ways to make them 25. And then the last one, this is a bit cheeky. It's all good. I needed a truth. And they're all a little bit redundant. I needed a truth that could, in other words, say everything is exactly as it should be. Should, in quotes. Okay, nothing is should, but everything is awesome. Everything is working out. Everything is beautiful. There's perfection and order, whether or not you can see it with your physical eyes, everywhere, always. So I call it, it's all good. To speak to the fact that everything's working out great. It's working out great, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when it hurts, even when it's hideous. It's working out. There's order. So those are the five, and I'm going to give you a free PDF, again, to download on the video page so that you can see these again. But I want to read them quickly now so you can see how they tie together. We are all one. Thoughts become things. Life is eternal. There is only love. It's all good. Do you see how benign and gentle and easy these are? Do you see that they leave nobody behind? I'm not saying these apply if you go to church on Sunday. I'm not saying these apply if you've never committed a sin. I'm not saying these apply if you honor the great holy rock at the top of the mountain. These apply to everyone, no matter who they are, no matter what they've done. And here's the kicker. No matter what they believe. I don't believe my thoughts become things. They still will become things. I don't believe we're all God. Can't change that. I don't believe it's all good. Can't change that. You know how powerful beliefs are if you've come this far and you're a member of the Infinite Possibilities membership. You know beliefs are all, because thoughts become things. Beliefs are all, but they do not override these absolute truths. These absolute truths are immovable, utterly immovable. If you say, I'm going to go down to the jungles of time and space, you buy a ticket that consents to these truths. Not that these truths don't exist beyond time and space, but they're unlike physical laws, which can be broken. Metaphysical laws, you can't break the law that you are of God. You always be of God. You can't break it. You can play and pretend. Now let's get empowered here. I want you to rock the five truths of being. Hopefully, now you see there are no mitigating factors to your dominion over all things. Okay? These are the truths of being. Everything else is flexible. So these truths of being do not speak of tests. These truths of being do not speak of laws other than themselves. These truths of being do not speak of the devil or evil or karma or ancient spiritual contracts. There are no mitigating factors. And moreover, most excitingly, there's only one truth of being that has a moving part. Call it variable, but that kind of negates absolute. So I just call it a moving part. In fact, I have often speculated in subsequent work that these truths of being are so benign and unavoidable with no moving parts. The only one worth zeroing in on is thoughts become things. Your thoughts become the things and events of your life. This is so thrilling. It means absolutely anything can happen. You decide. And it doesn't matter who you were in a past lifetime. It doesn't matter what guidance you received or didn't receive earlier in your life. If there's something in your life today that you don't like, think anew. Define a new end result. Dwell on it, speak about it as if it already happened. Start taking baby steps in that direction. Start doing demonstrations in that direction, what we talked about last week, because you are the law. These truths of being reveal where you fit into the equation of reality creation. These truths of being, this truth of being, thoughts become things, reveals where you fit into the equation of reality creation. OMG. It's not God's thoughts that become things, except that you are of God. You are God. You're a mini-me of the divine. You are God's choice to experience creation this way. You are God's new window on the world because you are God. So, yes, you have lessons to learn, but there's no tests. Don't you understand that if what I'm saying isn't true or had any cracks in it, then there would be other elements deciding your fate. And if there were other elements deciding your fate, you couldn't say believe and you will receive. You couldn't say your thoughts become things. You couldn't say your words give you wings without caveats. Oh, as long as that pillar over there doesn't move over here, as long as your karma is straight and your contracts are even. Your thoughts become things, but only if you were not a pirate in the last lifetime. There'd be caveats and there'd be cracks in everything. By knowing these truths, you can do better than rock them. You can rock your life with confidence and stop labeling yourself and stop thinking that, yeah, maybe I could do it. Maybe I won't. Do I believe in myself? Shut the heck up. You can do it. Get on board. Know the truth and be free. Where have we heard that? The truth will set you free because it's so simple and it's so empowering. And like Seth from Jane Roberts would say, it pierces through and blows up and bulldozes lies. You stumble upon a truth and you may, in that moment, if it's in your core and you're willing to live your life by it, in that moment, dissolve 542 invisible limiting beliefs without even knowing they were yours. This is the truth. Your thoughts become things. It's the only variable. All else bows and scrapes before the power you wield with your focus in your thoughts, which spills onto your tongue, which animates your body. There's only thoughts becoming things. You're living a daytime dream just like a nighttime dream. You're creating your life just like you create your nighttime dreams. And it's this absolute. So if things scare you right now, realize that you are more than you have seen yourself to be so far. Change the picture in your mind, show up with baby steps, and you unleash all the magic. No mitigating factors. Doesn't matter what the score was in karma. Doesn't matter what you agreed to earlier or how you saw yourself as insufficient or inadequate. Change the picture in your mind. It will be daunting. It will seem futile. And then playfully pretend, as we talked about last week. Could not be easier. I want you all to share, please. It helps so much for you to get clear on these truths of being because they reveal your power down below under this video. Tell me what your aha moments were. Tell me what made sense. And most importantly, I invite you to share what surprised you, what disappointed you. I didn't talk about a loving universe. I didn't talk about an evil devil. I talked about you and your magnificence and that you are the universe come alive. But there is no universe outside of you. There's only the universe inside of you. So yeah, all of those other thoughts can be that I've ever talked about, that others ever talked about. If they're in truth, they fit into this equation of the truths of being and your power coming from your focus. So share below what's tricky. Share below what you doubt. Share below if you're vexed by addictions. Share below if you wonder how this applies to people who are schizophrenic. Okay, there's order, there's purpose, there's meaning to all. Share below, talk, get the discussion going. What surprised you? What did I leave out that I shouldn't have? Tell us what you think. And your challenge for the week. This is an oldie, but now that you know how flipping powerful you are, what would you do if you knew you would not fail? Because you can't. What would you do if you knew you would not fail? You can't as long as your end results, desires, and dreams aren't hinging on someone else's manifestations. And you can't as long as you're not messing with the cursed house or unimportant details. We talked about the Bermuda Triangle earlier on, or you can go look at it if you're new. But basically, just like The truths of being are so few and far between. I'm not creating a religion. There's nothing in it for me. Okay. It's so simple. So are there only such a few things you could dream that might be encumbered? Other people, cursed house, unimportant details. You can have everything else, the whole enchilada.